Hello, hi, my name is Kris Kemp, and I run a website, kriskemp.com, KRISKEMP.com, where I talk about self-development made simple. At the website, I share simple, powerful, and effective strategies that you can use to change your life in 5 minutes or less. So go to kriskemp.com, check out some of the blog posts, buy some of my ebooks. I recently finished an ebook that's a collection of blog posts that I've written. It's over 400 pages. You can find it at kriskemp.com. It's called Fix Your Life in 5 Minutes or Less. And in that ebook, this is one of the things that I talk about, which is means values versus ends values. So let's talk about it. Let me get up here. So means values versus ends values. Why should you care? Here's why you should care. Means values are what you want. Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. So in marketing, if you want to sell a product or a service, and in life, essentially we're all marketing ourselves to other people in order to find relationships and in order to find and attract love and attract money and financial resources. It's fine to say what you want, but it's more important to understand how getting what you want makes you feel, especially when it comes to selling yourself as a person or also selling a product or a service. So let's go into this with a practical illustration. So typically or stereotypically, when you ask a girl what she wants, or at least I don't know if this is really recent, but this is kind of like a common phrase. You'll say to a girl, "What do you want in a guy?" And she might say, "I'm looking for someone who's tall, dark, and handsome." So the means values for what the girl wants, excuse me, or what this particular girl wants would be tall, dark, and handsome. So she's looking for a guy, excuse me, who's tall, dark, and handsome. So these would be the means values of what she's looking for. So you ask the girl what she's looking for, and she's saying, "I'm looking for a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome." So that's the means values, what she wants in a guy. Now what's really important and interesting to determine and to discover is to find out how that makes her feel, because that's really what she's looking for. The feeling that's attached to the means values. For her, it's a feeling that's attached to tall, dark, and handsome. So I've asked probably at least 10 girls, friends of mine, acquaintances, "What do you want in a guy? Do you like someone who's tall, dark, and handsome?" And they will say yes. And then I will ask them, "How does that make you feel when they're tall? How does that make you feel when they're dark? How does that make you feel when they're handsome?" And their answers, so how it makes them feel is the ends values. Hopefully you can read this. I'm using natural light. I'm using brown because the black marker ran out. So the ends values would be, how does it make you feel if he's tall? So this would be equal, excuse me. So how does it make you feel when he's tall? And they would say, "It makes me feel," this is typically what they say, "it makes me feel safe. Because he's tall, it makes me feel protected. And then they'll go on to say, "I don't want a guy who's shorter than me because it makes me feel like I have to protect him, and I want to feel safe and protected." So when I typically ask a girl, she says she likes a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. How does it make you feel if you're dating a guy who's tall? She'll say, "It makes me feel safe and protected." How does it make you feel if the guy's dark? And she'll say, "It makes me feel like he's mysterious and unpredictable." And then furthermore, she'll say, It makes me feel like I never know what's going to happen next, which is essentially unpredictable. One of the girls that I dated a few years ago, she said, you know what I love about you? And I said, what? And she said, you're unpredictable. She said, I never know what's going to happen next, so it's exciting. So I was like, okay, cool, that's good to know, because my credit score is pretty low, so I guess unpredictability will make up for it. So means values and ends values. Means values, what you want. Ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. I've asked a few girls, do you like a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome? They'll say yes. So means values. What is it? How does it feel when you're with a guy who's tall? They'll say safe and protected. How does it feel when you're with a guy who's dark? They'll say, it'll make me feel like the guy is mysterious and unpredictable, like I never know what's going to happen next, and that makes me feel excited. So that the end cause is excited. And then I'll ask the girl, how does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's handsome? And this gets pretty interesting. She'll say, it makes me feel chosen. It makes me feel special. So in life and in love, the means values are important, but the ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel, that is actually more important. So these girls who I spoke with, they're looking for a guy who makes them feel safe and protected, a guy who is mysterious and unpredictable and exciting because they never know what's going to happen next. And they're looking for a guy who makes them feel chosen and special. So let's go down here a little bit. So let's talk about this. So imagine that this is the earth, okay? The earth. And imagine this is like a little seed, okay? The seed would be the means value, so I'm just going to put MV, means values. Now, as a seed grows, means values what you want, how getting what you want makes you feel. As it grows and it cracks the surface and it forms a tree or a flower, so let's just say this is like a small tree or something. So that would be the ends values. So again, a brief overview. Means values is what you want. Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. I've asked a few girls, means values, what type of guy do you like? And they'll say, I like a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. And I'll say, how does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's tall? How does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's dark? How does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's handsome? And they'll say, well, when he's tall, I feel safe and protected. When he's dark, I feel like he's mysterious and unpredictable. And I never know what's going to happen next, so it makes me feel excited to be with him. If he's handsome, because he's so good looking, the fact that he's chosen me, it makes me feel chosen. It makes me feel special. It makes me feel pretty. It makes me feel attractive. It makes me feel sexy. So how does this work with marketing? So when you're selling a product or a service, it's fine to talk about what they want, but it's actually really, really important and crucial and critical to tell them how getting what they want will make them feel. So I have my two main websites are kriskemp.com, which is self-development made simple. Essentially, it's like Tony Robbins, but with a lower credit score. And actually, it's not like Tony Robbins at all. He's a genius. I'm just pulling different sources like him and other people, and I kind of share it in my own creative way and form and fashion. But essentially, my two main websites are kriskemp.com, self-development made simple, and kriskempcreative.com, digital marketing made simple. So what I would do with self-development made simple is I market that by saying, change your life in 5 minutes or less. I don't need to share all the tools and all the strategies. It's more important for me to share how all the tools and all the strategies that I've found, that I've used for myself, and that I'm sharing with other people, will help people get to a certain point in their life, will help people find financial freedom, relationship freedom, spiritual freedom, and travel location freedom. Got it? And with kriskempcreative.com, which is digital marketing made simple, what I share is strategies and SaaS, software as a service tools, and techniques that I use to build an audience and to grow profits for my ebooks and also for my digital marketing services. So when I sell that to a client or a customer, I don't have to share all the tools and all the details. That person just wants more business. That person wants more customers. So that person who I'm selling it to, he wants more customers. So what I share with him is not the fact that he'll get more customers, but about the fact that his business will grow to the point that he can outsource a lot of it, and he can hire a lot of it, and he can have a lot of free time, and he won't have to work so much. So I try to share the ends values with what I'm doing with my marketing services, and also kind of with my coaching services at kriskemp.com. So again, means values, what you want; ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. If you're trying to sell a product or service, share the ends values, the after effects, the residuals. That's what's important. Another thing about means values and ends values that I find interesting is that sometimes you'll see, regarding relationships, you'll see, a very beautiful girl with a guy you're like, okay, that's interesting. And he's not like she's like a 10 and maybe he's like a 5. And you're like, what is that woman doing with that guy? Now, this is a theory here. So my theory is that woman is with the guy because she's getting all the ends values. The guy might not be tall, he might not be dark, he might not even be, stereotypically handsome, but he's giving that girl the ends values. So say, for example, you see a gorgeous, intelligent girl. She's like a 10, she's a supermodel, and she speaks 5 languages. And she's with a guy who's like 5'2", and he's like very overweight, and he dresses like crap, and maybe he doesn't really have a good job, okay? Now, maybe this guy knows karate. So this guy makes you feel safe and protected. Maybe even though he's like chubby, he knows how to protect her. Maybe he has protected her in certain situations. Who knows? So she might feel safe and protected with this guy, and maybe that's why she's like him. Now, this guy might be mysterious and unpredictable. Maybe he's mysterious and unpredictable because he has like a mental condition, but maybe she's not aware of that, or maybe she is, but she finds him interesting. Maybe he has a split personality. Okay? Now, this guy might make her feel so chosen and special and pretty that when she looks at him, she sees him as handsome, even if he doesn't fit kind of the mold as being stereotypically attractive or handsome. So go for the ends values. Go for the ends values. When you meet someone, think about what they want. Don't exactly give them what they want, but think about how giving them what they want would make them feel. And try to make them feel that way around you. A lot of people are looking for validation. And if you can just express interest in them and ask questions and be genuinely interested in them, human nature has no warning signs, and people are fascinating creatures. If you could almost approach it like bird watching for humans and ask a person a question and use your questions almost like a shovel, where you're doing an archaeological dig, but you're genuinely fascinated. Through all the dirt and stuff, you're going to find some buried treasures there, and you're going to help them find some stuff. And those buried treasures, the more you ask the questions, you're going to be polishing those, and that's going to really shine. And you're going to help them remember things about themselves that they have forgotten. And in doing so, you're going to motivate, challenge, and inspire them to learn more about themselves while you're learning from their stories. So, curiosity and charm is leverage. Those are 2 powerful strategies you can use to really help people get what they want, while at the same time, they're helping you get what you want, because they will remember you. So many people do not listen. Listening is kind of a lost art. If you listen and you ask questions, hearing is one thing, listening is where it goes deep. Okay, I'm going off on a tangent here. But again, means values, what you want; ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. Go for the ends values. The ends values are important. If you want more strategies like this, I share simple, powerful, and effective strategies that you can use to change your life in 5 minutes or less. A lot of these have to do with perspective and clarity. Please visit my website, kriskemp.com. That's Kriskemp.com. I will write it up here for you. Right, so oops, what's going on here? There it is. So website is kriskemp.com, self-development made simple. Buy my ebook, Fix Your Life in 5 minutes or less. And I share a lot of strategies like this that I think will definitely help you. All right, have a great day or evening or night. God bless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, this is Kris Kemp from kriskemp.com. Hey, this is Kris Kemp from kriskemp.com. At kriskemp.com, you'll find simple, powerful, and effective strategies that you can use to change your life in 5 minutes or less. It's self-development made simple. Today, I'm going to talk about means values versus ends values and why you should care. Okay, what are means values? Means values is what you want. So means values is what you want. What are ends values? Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. So what's important in these two? Ends values are what is important. I've talked with a lot of girls, I've interviewed a lot of girls, and I've asked them, what are you looking for in a guy? And a lot of them have said, I'm looking for a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. And that's what they want. The means values, what these girls want is they want someone who's tall, dark, and handsome. And then I ask them, how does that make you feel when you're with a guy who's tall? How does that make you feel when you're with a guy who's dark? And how does that make you feel when you're with a guy who's handsome? And typically this has been the response. How does it make you feel when you're with a guy who's tall? The girl will answer, I feel safe and protected. How does it make you feel when you're with a guy who's dark? Girl will answer, I feel like he's mysterious and unpredictable, and that I never know what will happen next. And I feel like it's exciting. How does it make you feel when you're with a guy who's handsome? The girl will answer, I feel chosen, I feel special, I feel pretty, I feel unique. So means values and ends values. Means values what you want, ends values how getting what you want makes you feel. Go for the ends values. How does this apply in life? And how does this apply in marketing? I also run a website called kriskempcreative.com, which is digital marketing made simple. So let's apply this to a marketing strategy. Let's say you find out that your client, that a potential client of yours, he wants more time freedom in his life. He's stressed at work. And let's say you're selling a service that will help him get more time freedom in life. Here's one way you could approach him. You could approach him, call him, meet him for a coffee or a chat at his place of business or at some public park or something. And I would say, listen, I work online. I help people get more clients, and I run social media, which means you will have more time freedom. So if you hire me, you'll have more time freedom. And then what I would do with this client next is I would do what's called future pacing. And I would say, imagine how it would feel if you didn't have to come to work every day. If you had someone else, your manager at work, do what you're doing. And imagine how that would feel if you could spend more time with your children, with your wife, with your loved ones. And then I'd get that person, the guy or the girl who I'm kind of pitching my service to talk about that. And then I would say, wouldn't that feel great? And then they'll be in that new emotional state. And at that point I would say, if you hire me, I will be able to help you in such a way that you will be able to have more time freedom with your loved ones, with your wife, with your children, or for traveling or whatever you want to do. Because I will help You set up the tools where you can get more business. I will meet with you for a strategy session so you could hire someone else to do the work that you're doing, so you could pull away from your business. You could be the owner operator without doing the grind where you're working from 7 to 7 every day and not having much of a life. So in digital marketing, I try to sell the ends values as well. I try to sell, how will it feel if you hire me, and how will it feel if I'm able to help you free up your time? How would that feel for you? Imagine how that would feel. And then I would even add an embedded command. So NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, talks about embedded commands. So one embedded command would be like, let me think real quick. You deserve better. So it's 3 words. You deserve better. Another embedded command might be like, you've got better things to do. And I would frame that in a question like, haven't you got better things to do than always being at work 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, running after employees? What if I could meet you and I could meet your employees and we could set up a system, a process that would work for you so you could move from being the manager to being the owner operator? And that system in place helps you free up your time so you can spend more time doing what you love. Because at the end of the day, time is all we have. And time is the most precious commodity, time and attention. So this is means values and ends values. Means values, what you want. Ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. Always go for the ends values. That's it. If you'd like to know more information about this, if you'd like to know more information, visit my website, kriskemp.com. Self-development made simple. Thanks so much. God bless. Hi, this is Kris Kemp. I run a website, kriskemp.com, where I talk about self-development made simple. Today we're going to talk about means values versus ends values and why you should care. So means values. Means values are what you want. Ends values. Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. So in life, means values are important. You want certain things, but ends values are what's really important, because ends values is how getting those certain things will make you feel. When you're selling yourself, when you're selling your product or service, always go for the ends values. Me, I do digital marketing at a website called Kris Kemp Creative, where I do email marketing. I develop and build landing pages and squeeze pages. I help businesses get more customers and freelancers get more customers to sell their product or service or both. So in doing this, what I'll do is I'll generally meet with a client at a public place, usually at like a coffee shop, and we'll chat for about half an hour, and I'll say, what is your goal for your business? And typically that client will say, I want to get more customers. And when that client says that, I will share some strategies that client can use to get more customers. I'll write them down. I'll suggest that the client literally is video record me on his phone, where I talk about strategies for 10 minutes that he can use to get his customers. And that's at kriskempcreative.com. Now, then I'll find out what that client really wants, which is how getting more customers. So that client wants is getting more customers. But the ends values for that client is how getting more customers would make him feel. That's the important thing. So what I'll do next is I'll ask that client, how will getting more customers make you feel? And he or she will typically say, well, I'll be able to grow the business to the point that I can hire a manager to do what I'm doing. So instead of me working 12 to 15 hours a day and not having a life outside my business, I can hire someone else to do it. And I can move from being the business manager to being the business owner operator. And I can step away and have a system in place that kind of runs things efficiently. So then at that point, once I find out what the client really, really wants, is how getting what he wants, more customers, will make him feel. He wants freedom, he wants financial freedom, he wants more time freedom with his family. What I'll generally do is ask him another question. How will getting what you want makes you feel? He'll explain that, and then I'll ask another question on top of that. It's kind of like value stacking. I'm creating a value ladder for him to climb up, while at the same time getting information from him or her so I can help them accomplish their goals. What I'll do next is I'll say, how does getting what you want make you feel? He or she will describe that. I'll listen. And then I'll pause and I'll say, wouldn't that feel nice if you could? And then I'll basically repeat what they said. Or I'll say, imagine how that would feel if you had that. And then their eyes will glaze over, and they'll usually look in a certain direction. If they look up, that means they're typically visual, according to NLP. If they look to the right or the left, that means they're auditory. And if they look down, they're kinesthetic, they're feeling. So when I say, imagine how that will feel, or wouldn't that feel nice? When they look up, that means they're visual. I'm looking at their eyes, up. And I'll say, can you see how that would be cool? If they look to the right or the left, that means they're auditory. I'll say, that sounds good, right? And if they look down, that typically means they're kinesthetic. I will ask them, wouldn't that feel nice? So see, wouldn't that be cool to see it that way? Sound or hear? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Wouldn't that sound cool? They look down, feel, yeah, that would feel nice, right? And essentially I get this client in a semi-state of hypnosis where I'm future pacing them, asking them about how it will feel in the future. They're telling me, I'm feeding it back to them. This is creating a feedback loop. That feedback loop is kind of creating a state of being and a feeling for them. And then anchoring. I'll typically say, give that client a high five. Isn't that cool? Imagine seeing that high five, feeling that high five, feeling that. Hearing that, feeling that high five, high five. So the high five is an anchor point. I'm giving them value. I'm kind of putting them in this cool hypnotic state. I'm future pacing them. And then I'm offering them my product or service that will help them get to that point. And generally at this point I'll say, if you're interested, I can help you with this. This is something I really like doing. I love helping people. I love working online. I love copywriting. I'm good at email marketing. I know how to get you leads for your business. Consider hiring me. This is what I can do for you. And then we talk about more details like that. Anyway, this is means values, what you want, ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. Go for the ends values. The ends values are what's important. Because at the end of the day, everyone's chasing a feeling. And if you can give people that feeling, they will seek you out. Everyone is chasing a feeling. You can find out more about self-development made simple at kriskemp.com. Thanks for listening. God bless you. Hey, my name is Kris Kemp. I run a website, kriskemp.com. Self-development made simple. Today we're going to talk about means values versus ends values and why you should care. What are means values? Means values is what you want. Means values is what you want. What are ends values? Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. Ends values is how getting what you want makes you feel. So in life, what do you want? A lot of people will say, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, that's great and everything, but how would becoming a millionaire make you feel? That's what's important. And people will usually answer, I feel financially free. I won't have to worry about bills. I won't have to be stressed. I'll be able to put my 2 weeks notice and quit my job. I'll be able to do what I want, when I want. I'll have total freedom. I won't have any stress. I won't have to drive my car. I won't have to work with these bozos, blah, blah, blah. Means values, what people want financially is they typically want to be rich. They want the wealth. But the ends values, what's more important is they want the feelings that they get from having all that money. They'll have the freedom, they'll have the stress. They'll be able to go to the fancy restaurants instead of the unfancy restaurants. They'll be able to travel. They'll be able to spend more time with their loved ones. The ends values are what's important. Why? Because everyone's chasing a feeling. And the feeling is what's really important, more so than the actual getting what you want. The feeling is what people are chasing. When people are looking at 2 sets of clothes, and even if the clothes are made with the same fabrics, and one of the clothes has a name brand on it, and that item is $300 as opposed to another item that is $10, if they see the name brand one and they could get that, Or the other one that's a $10, they're going to want the name brand item, even if it's the same exact material made in the same factory. Why? Because they want the feeling that they get from having that name brand. They are attaching, that name brand has positioned itself to a point where that name brand is an identity. And if you have that name brand, you're a part of that identity. So you can just buy that name brand and you can be a part of that identity. You can be a Nike athlete and have a bunch of Nike clothes even if you are not an athlete. Just go to the Nike store and spend a few $100s and hey, you're an athlete, or at least you think you are. They're selling an identity. Everyone is chasing a feeling. Means values and ends values. Means values what you want. Ends values how getting what you want makes you feel. I've talked to a bunch of girls over the past couple of years, a lot of friends. I'll say, what are you looking for in a guy? And they will say, I'm looking for a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. That's the means values. They're looking for a guy who's tall, dark, and handsome. And then I'll say, how does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's tall? And they'll generally say, I feel safe. I feel protected. How does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's dark? And they'll say, I feel like he's mysterious and unpredictable. I feel like I'll never know what's going to happen next. And I feel like that makes him so exciting. How does it make you feel if you're with a guy who's handsome? And they'll say, I feel chosen, special, pretty. Those are the ends values. They want to feel safe and protected. They want to be with a guy who's mysterious and unpredictable and exciting, a guy who they never know what's going to happen next. And they want to be with a guy who makes them feel chosen, special, and pretty. The ends values, how getting what they want makes them feel, are what's more important than the means values. And this is why you'll see, okay, this is a theory here. This is my theory. It's probably other people's theories, but this is generally why you'll see couples together and you're like, what is she doing with him? You know? Or what is he doing with her? Well, that person who they're with is fulfilling the ends values. You'll see that supermodel. She's gorgeous. She speaks 5 languages. She knows how to cook. She's an amazing girl, amazing woman. You'll see that supermodel walking with a guy, and the guy is like, okay. The guy is like this. You're like, what is that supermodel doing with Tinfoil Man? Huh? But here's the thing. Maybe Tinfoil Man knows karate. Yeah! So maybe Tinfoil Man makes her feel safe and protected. Maybe with Tinfoil Man, he's mysterious and unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen next. Ha 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 ha! I'm so unpredictable. Maybe Tinfoil Man makes that woman feel chosen, special, and pretty. So Tinfoil Man, or the guy that she's with, fulfills the ends values that she's looking for. Tinfoil Man makes her feel safe and protective, mysterious and unpredictable, and chosen, special, and pretty. So Tinfoil Man wins because he's fulfilling the ends values. In life, talk about the ends values. Everyone is chasing a feeling. People want what they want, but more importantly, they want the feelings that are attached to the things and people and relationships and the situations that they want. If you sell them the feeling, let me back that up. Share with them, don't sell them. Share with them your strategies. Let them know how your strategies or the services or the products you offer can help them get the feelings that they want. People do want what they want, but more importantly, they want the feeling that's attached to what they want. I write about this topic and other topics extensively at my website, kriskemp.com, KRISKEMP.com, Self-Development Made Simple, kind of like Tony Robbins' crazier brother with a lower credit score, okay? kriskemp.com, Self-Development Made Simple. Go to the website. I recently finished a book called Fix Your Life in 5 Minutes or Less. The book is over 400 pages, a lot of hopefully valuable content. Go to kriskemp.com, buy the ebook. Support me by doing that. My goal is to motivate, challenge, inspire, and entertain people and let them know they have options in life by sharing what I've learned, the stuff that I'm still continuing to learn with other people, And at the same time, one of my other goals is to work online, to work independently so I can just work from my laptop because I really enjoy traveling. So help me out if you want. Go to kriskemp.com, self-development made simple. I hope this has helped you. Real quick overview: means values, what you want; ends values, how getting what you want makes you feel. When you're talking with someone, ask them what they want. Then ask them, how will getting what you want make you feel? And if that person meets someone else who's selling a product or a service, or meets someone else and gets in a relationship with them and stays in a relationship, or with the product or service, continues to buy that product or service, what's going on is that product or service of that person is making them feel a certain way. Everyone is chasing a feeling. Thanks for watching. God bless.